Hey guys, welcome to the Acrylic Asylum. I'm Mike Ferris, and in this video, we're going to go through the steps on the Still Life Sunnyside ink. Check out the description box below for a list of colors and materials. For help with the drawing process, you can check out Patreon where you can get traceable images in 2 standard canvas sizes. Now let's get started. So starting off, I have a 9x12 hardboard canvas, and this is the image off of Patreon that I used to transfer this image with wax transfer paper. And I also put a short video link in the description on more information on how to use wax transfer paper to transfer an image. So with that said, I'm going to be starting off with my number 20 flat brush here to do the background. So on my palette now, I have some Phthalo Blue, permanent black, raw umber, and a little water in the way there, burnt umber, primary red, Cad Orange, Cad Yellow, and of course titanium white as always. So for the background, just going to take some blue, a little touch of black to dull it down a bit, and mostly titanium white, and I'll take this light dull down blue and do the background with this. Okay, so with a clean brush, now I'm going to take some permanent black and just a touch of titanium white. So it's this mid-tone gray, and I will block in the egg white with this. Okay, now I'm going to take my number 10 flat brush now, and with Cad Yellow and Cad Orange, and just a teeny bit of Cad Orange, or it'll take over everything, and a little touch of burnt umber to that. And with this mixed up yellow, this is just base coat for now, and I'll go ahead and fill in the yolks with this. So now I'm going to a number 6 flat brush, and with just titanium white, I'm going to start putting in these different protruding highlighted edges of the yolk as it sticks out. And you can put these pretty much wherever you want, just here and there, but not everywhere as the motto goes, and letting those other shades play through as well. And this is going to be the start of building the texture and some of the folds within the yolk. Or I'm sorry, did I just say yolk? I meant in the whites. We'll get to the yolk. Okay, with my number 2 flat brush now, I'm going to some burnt umber and raw umber together and titanium white. And now just a touch of Cad Orange. So with this very light, dull, orangey brown color, a little bit more white to bring that up, I'm just going to go in here and dance this here and there, but not everywhere. And this is going to be the start of those discolored edges from when it got fried in the pan. So just kind of something like this. Okay, no cleaning, just going to go into some raw umber and burnt umber together. So with this dark value now, just going to hit some of these areas here and there. And as I hit these areas, I don't want to cover up any of that faded color, and so by doing this, it really shows some natural shadow transition and just really helps to build up the texture of these crispy edges. Okay, no cleaning, and now into permanent black, a little bit of titanium white, so I want a little bit darker gray tone this time. And with this, I'll dance that here and there, and we'll show some shadow and some different texture stuff within the egg white. So as I come up here with that darker gray, as you can see, I can knock back anything I don't like with this white and vice versa. So just really go for it, and you can define it and do anything, like I said, like so. So really just hit it and knock it back if you don't like it, or reshape it, or define something if it's too much or too little of something, and have some fun, see what you can come up with on this. So now I'm just gonna take and put some dots here and there, and you can really do this however you want. This is your painting, and eggs, of course, don't come out exactly the same when you cook them, so this is always unique. So again, just go for it and cover anything that is out of line or that you don't like, and don't be afraid. Okay, so just with some of that gray again, and you can see it's a little bit darker this time, and I'm just going around some places here and there. Okay, now with a clean brush, going into just titanium white, and I want to go around and over just some of this, and in this way I can settle some of this down, making it more natural. And again, I can knock anything back and redefine something if it's too much. So I'm going to meander this white around and sort of just kind of dance it here and there. See, I'm kind of bringing it down into that dark value, but again, not covering that dark value up all the way, but letting that play along. And this really brings out some highlights and definitely adds to more texture detail. Okay, with a clean number 6 flat brush, I'm taking Cad Yellow now, just a touch of primary red, a little bit of Cad Orange. This is mostly Cad Yellow. And now I'm going to put just a touch of burnt umber in there just to darken it and knock it down just a bit. So I'm going to mix this up, and I want a little bit more of a red hue in there, and red also helps to dull a color down, by the way. So with this now, let's go in, and where I want it the heaviest first, and then as paint leaves the brush, it's going to allow me to brush just a teeny bit of paint up into that yellow value and make this really nice gradient. So as you can see up close, I'm just stirring the bristles and using very light pressure. I'm not really bending the bristles here because I don't really want to lay down more color. I want to blend that color now instead of putting more down and have it really fade up into that yellow value like so. And so right over here, let's do the same. And again, that yellow and the orange, a little bit of burnt umber. And so this is a little bit darker now. And I kind of want to play these around and change these values up. This is going to really be the start of how we're going to really make these pop and shine and make these yolks really dance and do their thing like this. Okay, so with a clean brush now, just going back into that orangey color with mostly yellow and titanium white to make it brighter, as you can see there, and I'm going to start putting in these different highlight and reflection areas. Okay, no cleaning, just going into some yellow and some orange and a little titanium white, and let's make this little reflective highlight here. And now some more yellow and a little bit more titanium white now. And let's go in here and start really making some stuff shine. Okay, with my script liner brush and lots of water with titanium white, pulling it through to a point, and let's put a little bit of stuff like this. This really helps to enhance and pop this out and really shows reflection and shine all at the same time. So however you want to do this, just here and there, as you can see, it adds a nice shine to that. And I'll put a little bit here and a little bit on the other one as well. And now back to my number 6 flat brush, just a little bit of Cad Yellow, mostly titanium white, and just barely any paint on the brush at all, just very, very little. And this is a very dry brush and a way to glaze over, just some gloss and shine on these yolks. Alright, just going to go into some burnt umber now, into some Cad Orange and some Cad Yellow. And no titanium white, so with this darker color, and again, just a teeny bit of paint on the brush, you can see there's just a little bit that I'm dusting in here and there. And this is really just to bring in some more color into this yolk, and also to give a darker value to go around some of this bright highlight and really pop that out by contrasting those light and darks together. Okay, let's go into some Cad Orange and Cad Yellow and mostly titanium white. So we want just a little bit of that color in there. And let's redefine and sharpen up this reflective highlight here. And just going to build some more stuff like this. So now just going into titanium white, and I want to put it down again. And of course not cover up that faded color that I put down beforehand. And this really helps to build that shine and that glow very well. So let's go over here as well with that. So back to my script liner brush now, lots of water and into that light orangey color and mostly titanium white. Let's go back in, and I want to do some of these swirly little detailed things. So back to my number 2 flat brush now. I'm going to take the permanent black, a little titanium white, and a touch of raw umber into that. And this is going to be the shadow and more or less the separator between the whites and the yolk. So right here where the yolk and the white meet, let's start heaviest where, or start where I want it the heaviest, I should say, and where I want it the darkest, which is right next to the object. And then as I leave away from the yolk out to this white value, it's going to get lighter and more faded, and that's going to help to really show this natural shadow play happening. Now back to my script liner brush now. And with some raw umber and permanent black, I'm going to go in, and again, lots of water to make these lines crisp. And I want to go in and make these very dark, crisp lines just here and there. And of course, not cover up all the faded stuff, but this really helps to really pop out some details. And I'll come back in with some light value and settle this down after a moment. Alright, with my number 2 flat brush now in titanium white, I'm going to hit some white highlights here and there. And I'm also going to contrast this white against some of that dark value that I just put in, and also settle some of that down. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our background color, and it's a blue and a touch of black. Not as much titanium white, so as you can see, this is going to be a darker value compared to the background value. And let's make this for a shadow that's being cast by our eggs. So now just picking up some permanent black, and right next to the object is where I want the shadow the darkest, so I'm going to be careful not to bring that out into that darker background color. And this really shows some realistic shadow play. So now going back into some Cad Orange and Cad Yellow, and to that let's go a little burnt umber and no titanium white. So with this darker value, I want to just deepen this color and make it more vibrant and saturated, and also this will help to contrast a little bit more against some of that lighter yellow, and especially on these highlights that I've done. Alright, with a script liner brush now, titanium white, lots of water, let's give what I like to call some yolk bubbles. And we'll put a couple together like so. Okay, back to my number 2 flat brush now, just getting some raw umber and some permanent black. And titanium white a little to bring it up so it's not so dark. And I want to put some dark value in here, so with bubbles there is always some contrast of the direct highlight and some dark shadow that's involved with that. So I'm going to play these back in here, or back and forth in here I should say, and really bring this out between the lights and the darks. So again, I'll take titanium white and I'll contrast with that dark that I put up. And now more titanium white around this to pop that out, as you can see. So this builds up really nice like this. And a little bit more titanium white. So now I can dab it and it can make it look kind of bubbly like this. And then I'll go back in with more titanium white and redefine that edge. And now some more dark to come against that white, or that light I should say, and that brings a contrast to that. So see, it's just something kind of like that. You just want to build them up until you really get to see them really well. So now I'm going to take some orange and yellow and a little bit of white. And let's put in some more highlight reflective stuff here. I just kind of want to mess with these yolks a little bit more on that. And I'll start putting stuff there. So now I want to take some orange, some yellow, and a little bit of burnt umber into that. So with this darker value again, and let's go back in and contrast with some of this. Okay, a little dark value to separate those two bubbles there. Okay, so with a clean brush now, I'm going to take some Cad Orange, and this time a little bit more primary red, and some Cad Yellow into that a little bit. So this is really going to add some pop and shine and glow and all of that by adding more red to this value. So it's very little paint on the brush again. I'm just glazing over. I'm not covering up this whole thing, and I'm not really changing any values. I'm just adding in more of a red hue to this because this makes a big difference. And wow, look at that really pop out of there now because you have this contrast happening with that red. There's different values of orange. There's some yellow in there, and then you have those highlights in there that are of different values. Some are not as bright as others. So with all that playing together, this really brings us out. So now with the tip of my script liner and titanium white, I'm going to add some bubble stuff. And that really brings those out. And with the rest of that paint, I'm just going to put in some of these reflective swirly-like things. Okay guys, that's it. I went ahead and signed, and thank you all so much for all your support and watch time. Don't forget to subscribe for more video lessons I'll be putting out regularly. Give this one a shot. This is super simple, a few colors and highlights and shadows. And if you're not too shy, go ahead and post your results at my Facebook like page at The Acrylic Asylum with Mike Farrett. Drop your questions and comments down below. And until next time, happy painting everyone.